Well, good evening, everybody, and happy Memorial Day to you. This is Dr. Ella Thorpe from Tustin Longevity Center here in Tustin, California, Southern California. And this is our Talk to the Doctor. We do this every Monday night at 6 o'clock in the evening, Pacific time. If you have a question and you are on YouTube, you can go on to the chat and type in your question, and then I will do my best to try and answer any question you have about health. This is an educational program. It's not meant to be personal medical treatment. I know some of you who are on the chat are patients here, but if you have specific questions about your health, please call the office or text the office at our office number 714-544-1521. We are doing this as a service to our patients to always give you some other access to get questions or concerns addressed so that you know that you have a mechanism of reaching out to a medical doctor who has alternative functional medicine, integrative medicine experience. I'm with Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Merrick and Dr. Kaur and P.A. Patel, and now our new doctor coming back to us. Some of you might remember Dr. Habermill. Deidre Habermill is a board certified gynecologist, and she is an addiction specialist, so that we are happy to announce her joining us. Many of you have already seen her sitting to get reoriented. It's hard to learn a new EMR system, so for the first week or two, she's probably going to be just sitting with us and learning the ropes again, how we do things. And we are wanting to be grateful and thankful this Memorial Day for the many men who have given their lives for the individual liberties that we have in our republic, that our Constitution gives us. And so I hope all of you in the joy of your weekend and an extra day off have reflected on that and pass this on to our friends and family that we have individual responsibility, and that bleeds down into not only the bloodshed that they did, but into our own lives. We have individual responsibility for our health. When you collectivize or go to collectivism and centralization of government and in business and healthcare, you see all manner of errors because when you become abdicated from your own personal responsibility, then it's taken advantage of by those who don't know you and don't care about you really. They care about position and their wealth and power. So individual health, individual liberty, individuality, and personal responsibility are the hallmark of all the people that have been here before us. And so we're thankful to them, and of course to our Lord, which is the ultimate individual responsibility, that we admit that we have fallen short and that we need his forgiveness. And we thank him that he paid for our sins with his own son, our Lord Jesus. Now, let's get to the questions here. Debbie S. starts out saying, "Hi, Dr. Rita. I'd like to get eyeliner tattooed, but I have heard tattoos are bad for you as your skin is constantly rejecting it and fighting this unnatural material. Have you heard this? Thanks." Absolutely, yes. I'm very hesitant. I don't like tattoos. And of course, in Leviticus, it talks about marking your body. So putting these dyes into a needle just under the skin surface, injecting these dyes are really based on heavy metals. So I know it's the rage today, and I've seen it done even in my own family, and it grieves me that it's being done. And I do not, especially on such sensitive skin around the eyelids, I just don't want to endorse anything like that. And what a problem that you could have if you have an allergic reaction, swelling of your eyelids, loss of your eyelashes. You can get some secondary inflammation and damage to your cornea. It's just something I would not advise. Makeup itself is based on heavy metals. The different colors that you see in the pyrotechnics of the 4th of July, the color of the burning metal is the what we see. So red is a different mineral burning, magnesium is a different metal burning, the white colors are a different metal burning. So these are burning metals. And these colors are often used in our dyes that go into our makeup. It's enough that we brush this on with eyeshadow or eyeliner or mascara. So try to be very limited in your use of these things and just know how valuable you are. You don't need really, in my opinion, to use a lot of makeup. I just see each patient as so special anyway. So please consider not doing it. Kaya says, hi, Dr. E. What are your thoughts regarding flaxseed oil? Should it be included in the diet? How would you feel about soy milk, non-GMO? Thank you. Well, flaxseed is a oil natural that does provide the essential oils, linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid. These are an omega-3 and omega-6. If they're preserved in a healthy fashion, probably the healthiest way is to have the whole seed and kept in a dark, cool environment, and you grind it up at the moment of use. So if you had a little, like a coffee grinder, and you're grinding up beans for coffee, get a little coffee grinder dedicated to flaxseed and put a scoop in that and grind it, and then put that immediately onto your salad or a drink or something, and take it right down. And then you'll have less oxidized, damaged fats. Because remember, these are 2 and 3 double bonded elements. The EPA and DHA are many more double bonds. The EPA, I believe, is 6 double bonds, and the DHA is 5 double bonds. Those are extremely easy to rancidify or oxidize and become toxic. So I never recommend those. They're not essential. We can make those in our own body. Whereas linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid, the alpha-linolenic acid is the omega-3, and the linoleic acid is the omega-6. If you grind up your flaxseed and put it on some cereal, like cool lettuce, I would rather say, than cereal, and then eat it immediately, or you put it into some kind of a drink you're going to take and drink it immediately, would be the best way to do it, so it doesn't oxidize. The thing about GMO and soy, I would like to find out who is claiming their soy is non-GMO. I would say so much of the soy is GMO. I doubt any marketing. I really doubt it, that it hasn't been exposed to genetic modification. It's one of the big, like corn and soy and wheat, have so much genetic modification, but soy probably tops the Richter scale there, being genetically modified. The other thing is, we would want to ask you, why are you taking soy milk? If you're using it in tea or coffee, whatever essential fats are in it, they're being burned in your hot coffee or tea. The other thing is you're taking more carbohydrates with it, and then the lectins, because it's from the actual plant being crushed. So I am not in favor of soy supplementation, whether they claim it's non-GMO or not. I stick with water, tea, herbal teas, black coffee, and that's about it. So there's my thought on those items. Shannon says, Shannon and David ask, can you provide supplement vitamin suggestions to help a new mother of 9-day-old baby. Oh, congratulations. With postpartum depression. Mother is breastfeeding. Would you suggest Juice Plus and how many tablets per day? I definitely would recommend Juice Plus to build up mother and make her healthier for her milk. Very often, low vitamin D is associated with postpartum depression. I'd be interested in knowing the mother's blood type. Is she an A? This is very common in the A type blood. Not that it can't happen in Bs, ABs, and Os, but it's very often in the A's because they're not absorbing fat soluble vitamins, and vitamin D is fat soluble. Vitamin A is fat soluble. Vitamin K is fat soluble. Vitamin D. So I would look at getting her the vitamin D, and I would probably give her 20,000 international units a day for about 2 weeks, and then 10,000 a day thereafter, just to see if you see a mood elevation from that. The other thing is protein. Protein digestion and healthy fat digestion is very important with minerals. So especially, again, if she's an A, it's not as easy for her to digest her proteins and fats. So I would emphasize a rich protein source like fatty, healthy, wild prairie raised beef, wild fish, salmon that has a good deal of fat in it. Eat the chicken free range with the skin on it. Pork that is free range pork as well. And if she eats these fatty proteins, takes her vitamin D, Juice Plus will give her the vitamin A that she probably needs. I probably would give her 1.5 servings or a double serving at least for the first month to get those fat soluble A and such up. And a multi-mineral, like we have TLC multi-mineral that has the zinc, the magnesium, the potassium, and some calcium, things like this in it, because these are cofactors. Your second gut is in your stomach. I mean, your second brain is in your gut. And so helping A's digest with orthodigestive enzyme when they eat their protein is valuable. So she might need a digestive enzyme, a double dose of Juice Plus, vitamin D, and a multi-mineral. And if that is not enough, I would bring her to a trained physician who would consider other evaluations, tests, and even possible medicine for a short time. But this can be very important. But I would start first with the nutrition and the diet and the digestive enzymes, supplementation with vitamin D especially. Deanne Smith says, greetings from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you. Deanne then goes on to ask a question. At 83, does one need to be taking DHEA or progesterone or etc.? I have been doing estradiol cream for a few years only. I always like to balance estradiol with progesterone in women because that's the way we're made. And even if you don't have a uterus, you had a hysterectomy, there are so many other tissues in your body that are progesterone supported, your bone, your sleep with progesterone, and I would, yes, advise that. But DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone, is a product from the way top of the biochemical change, some of the very first hydrolysis of cholesterol making progesterone, and DHEA is from the pregnenolone, and DHEA is from the very first steps, so that it will help support so many other things in your bodies, and it drops with age. I take DHEA, I take 50 milligrams, I would say at least 5 days a week. It helps support my muscle mass for my workouts 4 times a week with my personal trainer. It helps my strength, it helps my immune system, it helps my bone health. And so indeed, yes, I would do that because we tend to lose our muscle mass with age, we lose our immune system, and DHEA has always been shown to enhance the white blood cell count. So yes, I would use those. David Hertzberg says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. God bless you. God bless you back. And thank you for your service to our country and patients." Yes, I had the privilege of serving about 10 years on active duty as a doctor. And so I've seen a lot. And I really do feel that there are wonderful young men out there, wonderful older men who have trained and dedicated themselves to helping these young men mature into wonderful, capable soldiers and skilled technicians, pilots, mechanics, crew chief, all this kind of stuff. So it's really wonderful, the service time. Please tell me if there's any Hoag doctors that practice your approach to helping us. You are our doctor. I do not know. I do not know of any. I don't know of any. I have to admit that. Now, I have to also admit that I'm so busy all the time, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade rolling by. I am just so overwhelmed with trying to care for and manage Tussle Longevity Center, study every night or most nights of every week, the COVID-19 through another level of strain and research that I had to do to be ready to help. And so I don't attend parties. I don't socialize at all. Zero, nada. All I'm doing is research and work and going to church. So they are probably out there. And I do believe there's one doctor from Orange County that is outspoken family practice doctor in behalf of natural medicine. I just can't remember his name because I do know, and I do definitely recall looking at some of these YouTubes that have been not gotten rid of, on other channels that preserve them. And I saw him talk, and I just can't remember his name. He's a man about my age, or I might be insulting him. He may be younger. Maybe he's 60, 62, but he's a family practitioner in the Orange County who spoke out in support of using other treatments, early treatments like ivermectin. And forgive me, I can't remember his name. But I'm trying to teach the doctors here. We've had 3 male doctors who have worked here and then moved out on their own. And we have 2 other male doctors applying to work here. They've expressed strong desire to work here. And I told them, I don't desire to hold them. I desire to help build them up and support them as they open up their own practice and teach complementary, both their wonderful medical education with natural medicine. So pray for us that we get the right male doctors here and that they understand I'm not trying to hold on to them. I want to develop them, kind of like be a foster doctor parent. That was kind of cute. One of the doctors had suggested to me his wife thought a good word. She said, "Well, she is fostering doctors." That's right. All right. So thank you for that support and your prayers, Carol. Carol, where are you at? I just saw your name here, Carol Travis. Okay. Since you're out of collagen by Orthomolecular, what can I substitute until it's back in stock? Thank you. That's a hard question because it's such a high quality and clinically researched by orthopedic surgeons doing the cartilage, weight bearing, and then non-weight bearing measurements on the cartilage thickness using it. The size, the Dalton size, is so particular. I am sorry I don't have another choice. But if you would eat a healthy, rich diet with meat, chicken, fish, turkey, and pork and such, and use digestive enzymes, and then use your anti-inflammatory like Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme, the whole idea is that we should be able to digest our meats and extract from them and get those little tiny sizes that we work so hard to achieve in the laboratory. I wish I knew, but again, the supply is failing everywhere, and I don't want to cut corners and have a product that isn't as good. I just won't. I won't put it on my shelf. So I'm waiting just like you, Carol. Deanne goes on to ask, why do young women giving birth to a first child deal with high blood pressure? That's a new thing. That really is not really something that was so prevalent. Yes, there's preeclampsia, and it's a rare phenomenon. 40 plus years ago, when I was a young training doctor in family practice, it was rare. Now it seems more common, and especially now since so many of them have taken the Pfizer or Moderna, and this has been associated with vasculitis and thrombi and myocardial side effects. So we are seeing a concerning uprise from that, also from just general inflammation, drinking way too many of these foolish drinks outside of water. We are inundating our bodily system with so many signals through our mouth that are the guard, the tension, the autonomic nervous system is on high drive. It's like you have your DEFCON 2 all the time, every time we're eating or drinking anything. So let's try and back off and eat a more simplified diet and restrict entertainment to our foods to legitimate holidays. So I think these young women really need to work on drinking water. And then because I really don't know their situation, I would say an excellent multivitamin, Albion-based sources, because those are amino acid chelated minerals. That's in our TLC multimineral. That's in our TLC Energy Core and our MitoCore. But the magnesium in our TLC mineral multimin, and the OptiMag Neuro is a powdered magnesium chelate that is very relaxing. So if they eat a more simplified one menu day, have one day as a meat and vegetable for all the meals. So again, breakfast can be the same as dinner. And then the body is not seeing so many varieties, so many spices, and certainly getting only water as the medium of cell fluidity, you might say. And that's what I would do. Let's see. Tiziana, speaking of oils, how come sunflower seed oil is considered one of the bad oils together with safflower oil and canola, etc., but sunflower seeds, are they okay to eat? Yes, they are okay to eat. It's the manufacturing and marketing of these pesticide, the processing, the heat, the being roasted. Most people don't eat them raw, they eat them roasted. And so you're destroying the oils when you heat or pressurize them. So I would eat these things raw. And I would think if the best you could do to try and get them pesticide free, organic free, it'd be nice if we had a lot more restoration of small farms, small organic farms, where you could go yourself. Like I go up to the dairy farm that provides Sprouts with the raw dairy that I do use in cheese, and that's called Organic Pastures. And they'll let you tour their farm, and they have come down here and spoken with our patients. So the more we can get people providing small sources that are, that you're checking, and they know they're being checked. We all need to be held accountable. Yeah, so I'm not against sunflower seeds at all. It's just the way they've been marketed with roasting and heating and salting them up that we start seeing the bastardization of it. Now, safflower oil, canola, these are always, in my opinion, to be avoided. They have been put into these oils that go through all these processing steps and chemicalizations and bleaching and stuff. Just please stay away from those. Sunflower, I wouldn't buy sunflower oil. I would eat the seed. Okay, just don't use it as an oil. Use extra virgin olive oil that's always in a nice dark container, and uh, you know, vinegar with it. But all these salad dressings tend to have so many chemicals in it. I was just watching a documentary today on McDonald's food marketing with some references to KFC and what was the other one? Burger King. And it's just insane what goes into the making of these buns and the eggs and the McRibs and the hamburger junk and the tons of chemicals. And no one really goes there and doesn't buy a soda or a shake. And this is just death being served over and over to people. It's sickening, the chemical assault that they're doing to us. Eat your sunflower seeds. Don't use it as oil. Cook with butter, lard, beef suet oil, and lard, butter, and then use the oil on any lettuce or salads that you have with vinegar. Deanne says, we appreciate you so much, Dr. Rita. Thank you for having these talks to the doctor sessions on Monday nights. Well, God bless you. You all are just so unique and different. I would say if there's anything I hope to pass on to the young doctors is how beautiful the variations of life are. I feel like, I don't need to go to any island or on any vacation or anything and see these beautiful animals and stuff. I am so absorbed with the uniqueness of each and every patient. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's life has its challenges. And I get up close with so many people and look in their eyes, and their eyes are so telling and so beautiful. And I have the best patients. I have the best patients who are really loving to other people as well. They take their responsibility and they do quite well. I'm so proud of one of my patients, soon to be 100, and she's still on her hormone replacement therapy. It's quite an amazing thing. And so I see lots of lovely things. So God bless you all, and thank you. Vanessa says, hi, doctor. My chiropractor suggested 5-HTP for mood and sugar cravings. So far, I like how it makes me feel, but have developed headaches within 4 hours from taking it. Any idea as to why the headaches? 5-hydroxytryptophan. Why would that give you a headache after 4 hours? I've never heard that before, Vanessa. Maybe it's the product with whatever the capsule or the carrier medium is. So I would try another brand. We have orthomoleculars here. If you want a high quality known place that I visit periodically, they know me well and I've helped them develop some of their products. I would definitely try a different brand and see if it's still consistent. But I can't think of a biochemical reaction that should support your serotonin production, which are happy hormones, which should really relax you. So it seems quite unusual. I'm taking 500 milligrams of 5-HTP once a day at night. Well, I don't have that answer. So change the product, get another source from a high quality source of production. God only knows what's in some of these things. Constance, do you know of any of a product called spermidine, part of group of molecules known as polyamines, aids in autophagy? No, I really don't. Let me see on my other computer here if it triggers something. I mean, the autophagy is the cell death, eating up of the cells. And let me see if I can see what spermidine is. What? Um, SPERMID. Computer slow today. Everyone must be home on their computer. Spermidine. All right, so what is spermidine? Oh. No, I haven't heard of this. So, but I can see it's on a marketing channel. You know, I have been watching some of these marketing channels like stop, you know, if you have diabetes, you must learn about this, and stop what you're doing. If you have macular degeneration, you must do this. And, you know, it's usually an ad on something. And I feel compelled to look at what my patients are tempted to look at, to see if there's any real value or anything that I'm missing in providing good advice to my patients. And I saw this. That's where I thought I heard about it. Yeah. Uh, I am not God. I don't know everything, but I do know that it is not a miracle item that you probably need supplementation for. I think what this is doing is it is trying to replace fasting. Fasting is probably the greatest and the least expensive. Um, Actually, it makes money when you fast. You're not eating meals, so you're saving money. So I do recall watching this whole thing on that video because I see some of the commercial pictures here, and I did see this. So it's interesting. But when I look at the research on spermidine, uh, I don't see any big quotes. I see the Professor Frank Medeo at the University of Graz in Austria. Now, this isn't a scientific paper. This is commercialism. But I would think if they're proud of something, that they would reference the scientific literature. Now, some of these commercials have a few scientific references, but I'm always on it. I'm always trying to look for it. So I'm going to say that's a wash for me, the spermidine and autophagy and polyamines. They're It's kind of like trying to. I remember the rage about resveratrol. Then I remember the rage about anthocyanidins, and so a apple itself has thousands, tens of thousands of phytochemicals, and we might know of 500, but there's 9,500 more to learn about. We don't know it all, uh, and and so when we learn about one, it becomes a rage. And they know that they're tracking you on your cell phone, they're tracking you on your computers as to what you're looking at. So they're pelting to you commercially things to watch because they can see what you're interested in, to drag you into these purchases. And I have even purchased some of these things and tested them at home myself. And I'm trying to do this, so I'm familiar, and I do remember now that this was in the cell autophagy. But I think this is something that is more a rage rather than real science. Okay, Dolores McConnell says, Happy Memorial Day, Dr. Rita. I have on my upper arm a knot. Feels like a golf ball. Do you know what would cause this and what I can do? God bless. A knot on the upper arm. Now, if it's on the inside where your glands are in your armpit area, I'd be much more concerned. These often on the outer, especially as we get older, are what are called often lipomas. But this has to be seen by a doctor and characterized and sized and find out how long it's been there. Is it tender? Is it solid? Is it soft? You know, all these kind of things. But most of these are lipomas and they're benign, and that's usually associated with too many carbs in the diet. So, Dolores, please have a doctor take a look at this so that they can find out when it started, how big it is, and examine it and make sure it isn't from your underarm or anything like that. And then we'll look at it that way. But most likely it sounds, if it's on the upper arm out on the outside, it's probably a lipoma. Marcia says, what is your opinion regarding the pneumonia vaccine, 1 or 2 doses? I give an F to the FDA, I give an F to the CDC, and I give an F to the NIH, and I give an F to all their subsidiary organizations. They're a captured organization, in my opinion. They're in bed with the pharmaceuticals. Their research is in-house and attaboy, patting on the backs if there's any contrary research submitted. They, as a group with the attaboy, say deny for publication, and I am just not trusting their products. They're supposed to be there to help support research and what we call individual responsibility. I mean, I'm not in a big university anymore, but I still have published, and this is what we want doctors to do. We don't want them just to be working drones making money. We want doctors to care and love and have that wonderful relationship with their patients. No, so I have now given an F to them. I don't trust them, and I have great concern for the entire liability protection to any vaccine. They are indemnified from any harm or any cost to them if you're harmed by them. So how can I give you recommendations to take them? The other thing is there's no double-blind placebo-controlled trials on any of these things, not even on children's vaccinations. So I give them an F, and I can't recommend them. Andy says, hi, nice to see you again. 3 questions, please. Is apple cider vinegar good for you? Yes, I would say it is, especially if you're an A-type blood, and especially if you're getting older. It helps with the acidity in your stomach, digestion, and it's quite beneficial. Should my parents take the pneumo vaccine? Again, I just mentioned I give an F to the purpose of the creation of these administrative entities like the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. They have failed in protecting health. We have more chronic disease. We have more children ill. They have failed in the public health on so many levels. And I am totally upset and repudiate the idea that they would give indemnification to the manufacturers of vaccines from any liability. And you and I both know if no one can sue you, you're not going to make that product as well. And if you can make a lot of money selling that product, there's even more room for damage. I'd build up the immune system of everyone. I would take a high-dose vitamin C drip. I would make sure your vitamin D levels are good. I would eat a low-carb diet. I would not eat after 6 o'clock at night. Okay, and then what was the third question? How do I speed my metabolism? 33 years old and mommy of 3. Well, um, going to bed on time, and meaning being in sync with the night and day cycling. So trying to get to bed around 9:30, and get your body up and out of bed 5:36 in the morning with the sunrise. Drinking enough water, not eating late past 6 o'clock, having a routine of exercise that does address both aerobic as well as muscle groups. So if you can afford a personal trainer and do something like Pilates and weight training, I would get into a program with your gym or a trainer group like the Perfect Workout, which is muscle mass training twice a week, and Pilates is an aerobic, mild resistance, some aerobic and walking, pickleball. And then I would eat a low carb diet. I would find out my blood type. I would find a doctor who would look at my hormones, my age, my insulin level, my fasting triglycerides, my hemoglobin A1C, my fasting blood sugar, and then you would get a better picture of that. And then your free T3, your TSH, thyroid peroxidase antibodies, and thyroglobulin. Maybe get an iodine level or consider supplementing with a modest dose of iodine, 12.5 milligrams a day. All these things help speed up the metabolism. Have good nighttime hygiene. Don't be watching your screens all the way up to the minute you go to fall asleep. There really needs to be an hour or so of getting away from the screen so that blue light, or get blue lights in your glasses. Maybe shut it off by rote at 8 o'clock at night, and then whatever reading you have to do with a regular book, regular soft light at night. So light hygiene is important to your metabolism too. So there's, get a good doctor who can look at those things, and don't eat a high carb diet. Don't eat late at night. Let's see. Constance says, thoughts on standard process supplements, been around for over 90 years. Standard supplements have a good reputation, and I've seen them mostly used in chiropractic offices, and I'm for chiropractic. I'm for the body posture, nerve exit alignment, and the importance of the nerves in health and impulses, energy medicine. But they are low dose as a general rule, because the standard process are usually organic food concentrates of herbs and various things. I am dealing with diseased patients often, who I have to make an impact on their cardiovascular health after a heart attack, or working with their cardiologist with congestive heart failure. And so we need really high quality milligrams dosing. So I'm not going to say negative things about standard practice process supplements. I just haven't found them strong enough in my practice. And I guess that's the best way to say it. Dorothy says, what do you think is the best thing to alleviate high pain? High pain, I don't know what you mean exactly by high pain, Dorothy. Pain that's very severe, as in 1 is none and 10 is horrible. So with pain, you really should see a doctor to address if you have severe pain. We're not meant to be suffering severe pain. And so if you have severe pain, high pain, have a doctor work with you on it. If you have modest aches and pains, usually enzymes like Vitalzyme, Vascuzyme, taken twice a day on an empty stomach, first thing and last thing in the day, drinking adequate water, fasting for 24 hours, and see if the inflammation goes down for that. But pain that's characterized as severe, that's something I would say I wouldn't endure. I would have a doctor see you and work with you on that. Eileen Splika, What would you recommend for diverticulitis and perforation of the sigmoid colon? Any advice on recovery and diet? Diagnosed April 9th. Thank you. Well, diverticulitis can create a life-threatening infection in the itis form. That means there's white blood cells, something's actually inflamed, and there is a breach, and then it can leak into your intra-abdominal contents, pus and all that, and bacteria and so forth. So that's a high risk. Now, you're probably already seen and treated with antibiotics by a doctor. You probably had a CT of your abdomen since you've been diagnosed. So I'm presuming you're under the care of a doctor. Now, what caused this? So the organ of the gastrointestinal tube is just one cell membrane thick. Now, if once you get into the stomach, you see all these villi. It's like trees. It's like a forest of trees. But nevertheless, it's still one membrane on this villi that's all down the lining of your gut. And so if you get an irritation and a breach and then some breakthrough and an infection, that's horrible. But we all have little breaches. Food allergies do this. A high carb diet feeding bad bacteria in your gut does this. Yeast will then overgrow, and then your immune system is damaged with high carbs, food allergies, yeast, very low good bacteria. You have less vitamins made. And therefore, we would say you should do a food allergy test. And in the meantime, until you get that done, I would be on a fast for 3 days. I just wouldn't eat anything. I would just be on like a clear liquid diet, a broth. You could have some ginger ale, real ginger ale with real sugar in it. Or you could take water and put some spoons of sugar in it and salt, or get an electrolyte, Pedialyte, and put some salt in it that you would give a baby. That's so you get your minerals in your chicken broth and your beef broth. But the idea is to have all the function of your immune system take a break for a couple, 3 days from digestion. Then when you eat, I would only eat in a small window of time. I would eat somewhere between only noon and 6 p.m. And if you could learn to eat even shorter time, let's say 1 to 5 or noon to 4 in a 4-hour window, the less use of your gut, the more healing time. And then we have NT powder. That has the phospholipids because every cell membrane itself is made up of a double layer of phospholipids. And so we have this in a product called NT powder, which looks like that, NT powder. And then I would support your immune system with SBI Protect by Orthomolecular. This has the immunoglobulins in it that are very beneficial to help the immune system that's been hurt. And I usually have people take a hefty probiotic because you were probably on antibiotics. We start with a 2-week course of a powdered probiotic, and I have them mix it with these 2 powders here. So they just take a scoop of each of these and then a packet of the probiotic 225. And they do that, and after 2 weeks, you'll run out of the probiotic 225. The powders will last longer. And then we go to the capsule called Orthospore IG, 3 of them a day. And if you're eating in a shorter window of time and you just eat simplicity like beef and a vegetable, or chicken and a vegetable, or salmon and a vegetable, or pork and a vegetable for lunch and dinner, that greatly reduces the strain on your gut. I would usually recommend a digestive enzyme because if you're already not digesting well and you've gotten infected, then you really should help digestion with Ortho Digeszyme to help you break down that meal. So we've got repair of the lining. We're limiting the hours of use so that there's more healing time. We're putting in good bacteria, and we're kicking it all off with a 2 or 3 day broth and sugar water or ginger ale with water fast. And that's how I would do it. Then that would give you time to see a good doctor to look at any nutrient deficiencies and things like that that might be at risk, find out your blood type and so forth. All right, Dorothy, thank you for being on tonight. When you could be with your husband on vacation somewhere. Amen. Amen. Well, praise God. Your family too to me. So, what can I say? I'm boring and I like science, so I like what I do. I like my patients. Okay, Constance says, Dr. Jeffrey Barkey, prescription for Liberty. Oh, that's the doctor in Orange County, Dr. Jeffrey Barkey. I'm going to write that down. So there was a gentleman who was asking, that was David Hertzberg. So David, there is Jeffrey Barkey, Barkey, and he has RX for Liberty. Yeah, he's also a frontline doctor. Thank you so much, Constance. Karina says, hi, Dr. Rita, please advise on the best prenatal care. And is Juice Plus and carnivore diet a good thing for prenatal and pregnancy? Excellent, is excellent. The most nutrient-dense food would be a carnivore diet. If your blood type is A, you'd probably need digestive enzymes to help you with it. But absolutely. And then the Juice Plus will provide 30 different fruit, vegetable, and berry phytonutrients for many other things. The only other thing I would ask you to probably take is iodine, 12.5 milligram tablet every day for your metabolic performance and for the baby's intelligence, and vitamin D 5000 with K2. I think between a carnivore diet, Juice Plus, iodine, and vitamin D, you're going to do very, very, very well. Also, my husband has calf twitching since late last year. Went to a neurologist, Cairo, had an MRI. Nothing wrong other than a herniated disc, which he's had for a decade. I would give him a very high quality multi-B complex methylated. The highest quality B are methylated B. We have the TLC methyl B complex, and I would give him the multi-mineral. I guarantee that twitch should go away if he took the B complex and the multi-mineral. If not, you should continue to work with your doctor on finding out why. Let's see. Herniated disc is not too bad, as they say. He's been taking Lyrica for trigeminal neuralgia for years now. I was thinking it could be related. Please help. God bless you and your family. Yeah, so that's kind of suspicious to have trigeminal neuralgia and the twitching in the leg. So he's showing neurological. I would want to know whether or not he was received any Pfizer or Moderna shots. I certainly wouldn't recommend that because there's neurological issues with that. So I would stay away from that, especially during working this up. But if he could be seen by a functional integrative doctor, if you're in the area, try and be seen here, or go to acim.org, acim.org. Usually if you type in your zip code, they can locate a doctor. And if they went to ACAM, then they are probably open-minded to looking at the entirety and nutraceutical background, that you might need. Robert says, for Memorial Day, what you can someone that used to treat animals for the military during, this is a joke, okay. For Memorial Day, what can you call someone that used to treat animals for the military during the Vietnam War, a Vietnam vet. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I should have known when I saw your name, Robert. It's a Vietnam vet. There you go. Veterinarian. There you go. Nora says, thank you for your kindness, Dr. Anush. My daughter introduced you to me. This is the second day I am listening to you. God bless you. We both love you. Oh, thank you, Nora. Thank you, and God bless you. And see, folks, why wouldn't I enjoy my job and want to be here, Dorothy, on this day? Christina, hello, Dr. E. What recommendations do you have for those who get stomach aches and pains in relation to stress? Well, there is in your brain, there is a nerve that comes down to your stomach. It's called the vagus nerve. And so that is one of the reasons why we say the stomach is the second brain. There's such a direct connection between your gut and your mood. And if you're worried all the time, stressed all the time, this is going to send signals to your gut that won't be supportive of healthy secretions and digestion of your food. Or it can be associated with excess acid stimulation, or it can be associated with gut paralysis and stagnant function of it. So you need a doctor who will find out your blood type. This happens, the excess acid is usually in the O-type blood, and the paralysis or paresis is in the A-type blood. Very often we will recommend Glutagenics. Glutagenics is a L-glutamine amino acid that is very helpful in healing of the gut. You could take a scoop of that in water anytime you want when you feel this pain coming on. Or I had showed you these powders, the SBI powder and the NT powder. These are all very good and promote healthy gut cell membrane lining, because that's the very materials that make up the phospholipid protein layers. So I would ask you to see a doctor who can kind of find out your blood type and these things, find out if you need anything else, find your age, make sure you don't have an ulcer, make sure you don't have H. pylori, and from that point on, don't eat late at night, and maybe, I don't know if you have faith or if you have a spiritual side to you, but I would certainly ask you to, if you do, to just let the peace of Christ that passes all understanding compass you about, and just give you peace, to calm your mind, to calm your brain, so that there isn't that vagus nerve irritation. And taking a walk is another good thing. So whenever I get upset, I very often read my Bible, and that just calms me down. It puts me in my place. It helps me to understand I can't do all things, and I have to just rely on Him and give it over to Him. So hopefully that's a help to you. Carol says, also, have you heard of Quinton isotonic or hypertonic? Quinton. Carol, let's see. Let's see here. Let's look together, folks. Quinton, where's your name again? Carol, okay. Quinton. And it's called Quinton isotonic. Okay, Quinton. Here it is. Quinton marine plasma. What is that? Images. So I think what it's trying to do is support your minerals from just, the salts and the minerals. They have a hypo and a hypertonic solution. I'm trying to look for any science on this. Oh, the rejuvenating marine serum. Marine plasma called Quinton water is actually seawater. Produced, they put it through some extraction and filtration and microfiltered. And what's the purpose? René Quinton, born in 1866, a French naturalist. This is starting to look to me more like marketing rather than real value. So I think I'm not going to say anything good about it. But I have it up there. I can look back at that. So maybe next Monday I can have more information on that. But no, it doesn't look good, Carol. Nora says, it seems to me doctors don't care about their patients. I want to change my doctor. Would you recommend a good one? I live in LA, close to Hollywood area. Thank you. Love, Nora. Nora, I'm going to have to ask you to go to acam.org, acam.org. And those ACAM doctors that go for EDTA chelation therapy, they have an open mind and go from there. You might go on the FLCC Frontline Doctors and look for a doctor on that list, because if they're open-minded enough to have used ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine and early treatment, they probably have a heart for humanity, like all doctors should. So those are the 2 or 3 areas I would look for. I'm just so sorry. I'm not too much of a social person with doctors or anybody that I can give names. I just listen, study, come to work, and go to church. All right. See, Leah. Hi, doctor. Is there anything one can do for tinnitus? Boy, that is one chronic problem. I know heavy metal toxicities and EDTA chelation is something beneficial for it. I also know mineral deficiencies, inflammation in general, allergies, food allergies are part of this as well. So disinflaming with systemic enzymes, drinking half your weight of pounds as ounces of water every day, not eating late, eating a less inflaming, triggering diet, and maybe look at your heavy metals because this is both a neurological and a serological kind of scenario, irritating the nerves. And C. Leah says, my daughter is 18 and has COVID. She said she's doing okay, but had a headache and sore throat. Anything I should tell her to take to help her immune system? She unfortunately has taken 2 of the vaccines. Well, I would certainly consider, getting a doctor for her or a prescription tomorrow for ivermectin at her weight. We would have to look at her weight and give that to her once a day for 5 days. Vitamin D, maybe get the 20,000 international units a day with vitamin K2, extra vitamin C, and a zinc, such as in the TLC multiminerals. And she could use quercetin as well. That's in our DHIST. Now the zinc and the quercetin is in another product we made called Immune Protect. It's got all that in it. It's just missing the vitamin D. So if you got Immune Protect and took that once a day for her, plus vitamin D, and then called us or a frontline doctor to get ivermectin, I would do that. And if she isn't better, in 2 days she should be seen. All right. Celia says, thank you. Oh, we're after 7. We should wrap up. Lisa said, how would you treat recurring yeast infections with a low carb diet and fasting episodes? Karina, doctor, do you recommend any functional doctors here in Australia? Thank you and God bless. Wow, are you from Australia? Good to see you, Karina. I would encourage you to look at ACAM, acam.org, and Frontline Doctors. And I think they have out of country. I do believe we have chapters in Australia and the United Kingdom and in New Zealand and such. So I would look in those areas. Carol says, Dr. Lee Keneally uses the Quinton for her cancer patients. Well, that's interesting, Carol. So I've got it here, and I'll look at it. And remind me next Monday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll have time to look at it. So I've got it captured on my other site here, and I will look at it. But I've been around a long time, and I've seen things come and go. And I don't like anyone being marketed to without real, reasonable clinical payback, so to say. So I'll look at it, and I will, hopefully I'll learn something too. Robert says, God bless, have a great week. You too, folks, and we thank you, and we thank the Lord, and we thank all those wonderful people that gave their lives for our independence, our individual freedoms, and let us take that responsibility seriously with good health for ourselves. Okay, take care. All right, bye-bye.